My name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today's topic is the beloved. I was talking to a really good friend of mine today. We used to work together in California, and I had just been thinking about her, and we were having a conversation around the concept of romance, lover, union, relationships, what all that can look like, all the many forms that can take. And, conversing with her has me thinking about this, and kind of what flushed up for me in response to her has me thinking about this, because I have spent so much of my life knowing that I am a romantic, knowing that I believe in love, knowing that I believe that a healthy, happy, joyous union is a viable option. And even though we may be human and we may still have challenges, trials, tribulations around communication, which tends to be a foundational issue with the two-legged in my experience. As a general rule, it is possible to create a union worth experiencing, that is full of joy and enchantment and magic, and many, many things. And my attention has been mired in this concept of union with the beloved for a long time. And there are several things that have activated. My mom losing her husband to a drowning when I was a baby, and watching her raise 3 kids by herself and not having that experience of his nature and his nurture to join the picture, and how that affected her to play the roles of 2 people. But just as a general rule, outside of whatever experiences in my own life have triggered more of my attention to go towards I really would like to be in partnership and union, this is something that has really taken a tremendous amount of my attention in this life, everybody. And I just came to this realization that I always circle back to when I have trials and tribulations, and when I'm having difficulty or dilemma with a design, And what I circle back to is that you are right now in partnership with the beloved, and you're in partnership with every lover you've ever had and every lover you will have, because we're not separate, we're a sea of atoms. And this delusion of division, the delusion of separation that's so present in this space-time paradigm, it can be a bit all-pervading. And we can feel some relationships you may think, oh, that's great, we're still connected. In other relationships, or maybe a lot of your relationships, you may think, oh no, we're still connected. No, thank you, And I would say to that, it's okay, because the truth of my being, the truth of our being, the truth of the collective beingness, the isness of our business is love. Love is, I think, neutral. I don't think it's good. I think it simply is. It's what is. And in order for love, in order for light, in order for awareness, in order for consciousness to experience the fullness of its isness, which is its business, it does require opposite. It does require subject-object. It does require the concept of otherness. But the odd thing about otherness is it's really a coin. It's one coin, light, shadow, the gray in between. You know what I mean? Love, fear, no feeling at all. I don't know. It's all present in the dream that we dance in. And so I'm just realizing today how much frustration, how much sorrow, how much disappointment, how much pain, how much longing I have experienced because of my own willingness to dissociate from the idea that I am with the beloved now. I'm with this beloved. Way to go. What a nutty bird to spend your time with. Fantastic. Nailed it. What a fleet gazelle of a being. We're just flitting about, We're just flitting about from tree to tree, from land to land. And what a grace. What a grace to hold my own hand. What a grace to love this being, this woman, this man, this everythingness, this empty canvas in the vastness of existence. What a wonderful entity to get to love. The same is true for you, beloved boo, whoever is watching this. What a grace that you get to love yourself because there's no other like you. And I think it's, there's certain topics that as I evolve as an entity, I may change my answers on it. And I think this is one of them, but people often say you can't really love another till you love yourself. And I've always kind of called BS on that. I love, there are many forms of love, but I have loved my mother my entire life. I've loved her immensely. She's an amazing woman. And I've had long stretches, long periods, the vast majority of my life, everybody, difficulty loving her creation in the dream, Heather Featheredness. And, but I've loved her deeply, and I've loved beloveds very deeply. I would say to the degree that you do not love yourself, to that degree, are you really not able to fully receive the love that others are offering you. So to the degree that you self-deprecate, to the degree you write out a conversation of, I support everyone, no one supports me, la, 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 you're not going to be able to see all the support you actually get when you're locked in and committed to you not being supported, for example, or to you not being lovable. It's probably many people are loving you, probably many interactions you're having, you're loving kind, but it's difficult to place your attention and keep them with them when you're committed to another storyline. And so I've been, training in the plant medicine world, and I think the more I sit, the more I kiss the King of Cups, beloved Toad, beloved ancient many lifetime Toad friend of mine, the more I taste the bitter medicine, Abuela de la Tierra, the Madre, which I call Abuela because she's pretty ancient. The more I sit with these ancient plant medicines, the more I come to realize every breath is taken with the beloved. I and the Father are one. Divinity rests in me. Divinity is the entire sea. And separation is a delusion of division in the dream. That's the Maya, that's the illusion, that's the hologram, that's the matrix that we're talking about here, friends. That's the matrix we're talking about. So it's interesting because we are characterized in a linear dream. To our character tends to take on this role of one day I'm going to get there. I'm a little fleet gazelle. I'm going to jump from here to there and then face a million hells, and eventually I'll be home, right? And so even in my own life, no matter where I roam, I'm constantly like, one day I'll be with, and I have a boyfriend now. We're having a lovely experience with each other. We also have ways in which we learn around communication with one another. And even in that, it's strange. I'm experiencing one of the healthier relationships I've ever had. And I really am feeling healthier than I've ever felt with understanding what a grace it is for me or any entity to be in my presence. And I'm asking you, do you know, oh beloved one, oh beloved heart, and the sea of all that be, what a grace it is to be with you, to be with thee. I often say I kiss the toes of divinity, and I kiss the toes of divinity's children. I and the Father are one. It's like, it doesn't matter, like if I think of anyone that has wronged me, bad guy, bad guy, you're on the bad guy side of the coin. It's not at all connected to the light side of the coin. Well, you're just bad guy. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to those beings, and they are my beloved. Everyone that has ever given me trial, tribulation, frustration, grief, degradation, has not had any inkling to honor me as a sovereign being of the light of love, which I will always be, Any entity that's done that is my beloved and has been a grace in this place because they've helped me to evolve out of the idea that I am separate from them and that I am better than them and that I should get on my high horse and trample on top of them. And that's what the ego often does. It's a wonderful tool to discern and to label, but it tends to want to be superior to that which it's like, well, I don't do that, or I wouldn't do it that way. It's like, are you sure? Like, probably like somewhere you're doing it a little bit that way, or really couldn't be in the field of your awareness and your consciousness. I see this, and it's always possible that I am a clown and a fool, because I am the fool card in motion at all times. I'm a jester. I'm an upside down clown, and I'm grateful for it, you know. It's possible that everything I say is wrong, and it's all can be wrong. We can all judge it for the price of $9.99. You know what I mean? And it can all be wrong, or it can all be right, or it can all just be neutral ideas to consider and things to weigh in on. So from Heather Feather's perspective, each entity, Heather Feather, is her own multiverse. I am the Father one, I am the Creator one, I have the creative principle of holding an entire multiverse myself, and so do you. And as our frequencies or vibrations resonate and have a harmonic resonance, we will come together and appear in the field of each other's dreams. And, you know, the silly thing about my multiverse is that everything I've ever seen in it is my creation. And what the ego does is it doesn't want to own it. It's like, well, I didn't create that guy being a jerk, or I didn't create, you know, this guy's narcissistic issues and like his usury of my empathy, or, you know, like, I didn't make that. It's like, well, first of all, there's a dissociation in that between the self and divinity. Divinity created all of it. It created culture. It created all the labels that we love to apply to the flesh costume. It created the design. Like, man doesn't own it. You know what I mean? And it's cool. You can like decide that you own it, and you can like have your ego be the boss of your multiverse, because your multiverse is your own, and it's what's holy and true and sacred for you. And I don't begrudge that. However, I have my own truth that I walk in, and in my multiverse, everything is holy and sacred because I and the Father are one. That's the Christic saying of it. There are many, many, many sacred texts and sacred teachings throughout the annals of time that point to that, as above, so below. There's so many different ways that can be stated in the dream and is stated in the dream. And so I feel like those are the scissors, the agapos, that is the cutting of the cord of this idea of this so-called life that is individual and separate from other life, this Heather Featherness, this otherness over here-ness. And so, you know, just kind of dropping that idea that my ego doesn't want to hold, that I've created every step that I've taken. And there's a lot of reasons my ego doesn't want to hold it, because there's been a lot of fruit I've had to chew on in this world based on the steps I've taken and the choices I've made that has been really rotten. And there are a lot of ways the ego will want to fight that. Well, as a child, I didn't choose these parents. Well, yeah, you were an ancient soul before you took up the baby flesh costume. You're an ancient soul before you decide to transmute from fetus into baby, out of stomach or vagina, however you get popped into the world and become a being that is operating in the dream. You were a chooser. You were a spirit that was choosing. And so always you have choice. You are always choosing. You are selecting. You are, most importantly, selecting how consciousness will reflect in your field, will reflect in your multiverse. And so more and more and more, I start to look at the players in the dream. What is it I believe about relationship? You know what I mean? Like, and I notice I have a lot of friends that grapple with this concept of romantic relationship or union with the beloved. What a wonderful reflection of how much space that takes up in my own consciousness, you know? And no doubt I can relate to them. And I'm recognizing more and more that there's no place for me to get. Every breath, whoo, I am at home in the beloved. Welcome home. I am at home in the beloved. I am holding the hand of the beloved. Not only the Heather Featherness, but the divine essence and the atomic connectivity of the sea of all that be. I am with the beloved, and it cannot ever part from me, you know? So is it possible that it's time to kind of drop this weighty ball of one day I'll have a dream job, one day I'll be in love, one day I'll have the money, and can we just kind of breathe for a minute? Can you breathe with me for a minute? And the grace of having arrived, here you are. You are every dollar that's ever been created since the dawn of time, every form of money. You are every tuft of wind, every fox hiding in a little burrow, every raven cawing. You are every beautiful river, babbling brook, rainbow. You're all of it. You know, the shadow, the light, the love, the false evidence appearing real. And what a lovely, 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 lovely beloved you be. You can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine on YouTube, like and comment there. And you can always go to rarebirdmedicine.com for my services. I'm Moon.